Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, a place where Susan can introduce to you psychics, clairvoyants, past lives, and paranormal experiences. Now, here's your host, Susan Pinsky.
We're back. Hello. How are you? We're a little behind schedule, but that's just because it's a new day for me here at UBN. It's my first time with Jarvis, and we are all ready to go with a Psychic Virgin voyage. We have callers waiting online, and I'm really happy to be back. I thank everybody for asking me to continue my show, and also I had a great idea. I'm including my psychics in the production. I have a producer who's a psychic, and her name is Calise Simone. She's from New York City. She was born in Australia. Everybody knows her at Calise Simone or at CaliseSimone.com. She has workshops in Manhattan, and my daughter's actually been to a couple of them. And also she decided that she wanted to have a show where we have first-timers. And today's sort of a first-timer for me in the studio today. So it's all kind of running a little bit behind. We appreciate everybody waiting. We really, really look forward to the show. I also have another amazing clairvoyant du jour, and that is Rebel Colby. Or is it Colby Rebel?
Colby Rebel. Hi, everybody. Hello.
Okay, so anyways, let's say hello to Calise as well. Uh-oh, no sound.
Hi.
Hi, Calise.
Hey, guys.
Hi. Nice to see you.
So
nice to speak to you.
So Colby also has a show here called Live with Colby Rebel, and Rebel Colby. Oh, damn it. Is it Colby Rebel?
Colby Rebel.
Colby Rebel. And she is very popular, has a show every Thursday. You can tune in and get a psychic reading every week. She also has Coffee with Colby every morning, and she gives beautiful tips of wisdom and shares light and coffee with everybody. I watch her all the time. She has the best advice. I also know that Colby has a book called Leap of Faith, and she wants to help you with your spiritual business. So if you're a psychic medium and you're watching this, it's a really good guide to how to run a business, because Colby's success is apparent, and she's not only one of the best clairvoyant mediums that I've ever met, but she also is a businesswoman and very respectable, was able to give up her accounting job to be a full-time clairvoyant podcaster. And I want to take a little credit for introducing her into podcasting. She's been on several of my shows, and we were going back and looking at them. Calise, on the other hand, she's not local, but she and I spend a lot of time together, and I find her to be a breath of fresh air and also extremely intuitive and clairvoyant. So, bringing these two on the show is a real opportunity for you guys to call in for your first time. This is Psychic Virgins, okay? And we don't mean sexually. We mean psychically. So if you've never had a psychic reading, I want you to call the number on the screen, and to help us with our first time, we have none other than the biggest podcaster that I know, Sex with Emily
Hi.
Moorse.
Hello.
She's going to guide you through your first time, and we're going to talk about your first time, because your first time.
Okay.
Well, we're going to talk about your first time having
right.
a psychic reading. I know you thought that we were going to actually bring.
How could I not? When you say virgins, I'm like, oh.
She thought we were going to bring real virgins today on the show, and
Emily's like, my home ground.
Right, I got it. I can have the virgins. We can get through this.
And but we're not, because Calise's grandma's listening, so we want to make sure that a first time for everything. I mean, honestly, a psychic voyage can be like your first time. It's an intimate experience. You literally get experiences. Your body gets the chills. Your mind goes through this crazy change, and you think, oh my God, there's somebody up there like that I love, that I've missed, that I've mourned for, and that can actually communicate with me, or may have been communicating with me. And having that feeling of love and warmth after you've had your first time is kind of like sex a little bit.
Exactly.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, seriously. So if you listen to any of my podcasts with Emily Moorse, she's been here since the beginning, and she literally she was on episode 7 at Corolla, and you had a reading that day. And what's really interesting about it, and I'm going to be very quick because I want to get to callers, but somebody named Georgina popped up, and we didn't know who it was. Mm-hmm. Well, they also talked about a woman who was elderly, who was going to have trouble at the end. Uh-huh. And then they mentioned my grandmother's name. They brought up my grandmother.
Right.
I'm looking at Emily right now. Come to find out, Georgina is the dog that I inherited from Drew's mother after she died.
That's crazy.
And Drew pointed it out to me. So it had nothing to do with anybody except for it was me. And I didn't know. It was Cindy Keza was the person at the time. And she literally called out a prediction of the future. And nobody knew what it was. Right. So I listened to it. This was 4 years ago. Okay?
Right. It was 2013, right?
Or no, it was like, I don't know.
Wow.
So long.
Yeah, it was. So it's about you, because I didn't know a Georgina. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
But in the next episode, when you were with Barbara Mackey, she mentioned a small white poodle to you.
Okay.
Okay, the dogs are all like in this picture. Okay, you have a little white dog now.
I did. I had the dog from the dog.
Okay. Do you want Georgina?
Yes,
Because
I do. I want Georgina. I think Georgina's my better dog.
Oh my God,
a better dog match for me.
She's lost weight. She's adorable. She's the sweetest dog ever.
Really gorgeous
Maybe
dog.
that's
Really
okay.
gorgeous dog.
Calling back to the calling out. Maybe she meant that Georgina
Was going to be yours.
Yes.
Yes, and
I've been
that's what
looking
we
for
thought
the
when we heard
perfect
back. We
dog
were like,
my
she's
whole life.
about this big.
You
She's
can't
she's a
move
little-
her around again.
She's
had so
very
much
compliant.
I'm
trauma.
very stable.
She likes
for a
up.
dog.
Listen, you can babysit her, see how it goes. You
Okay,
can
let's
give her
do it.
back.
I wanna
But
just date her for a
Here's
while.
the deal.
Try it out, yeah.
I have this hawk now in my backyard. He's dominating the backyard. She's kind of small. She's losing weight. When she first got to my house, she was really fat.
Right.
She's lost a little weight because we put her on a prescription diet. I have the diet, everything. It's all ready to go. Anyways, and she's house trained. Like if she goes in the house, she goes on these little pads. So
pee pads.
yes, and she does it right there.
So
and
she's
she
like a cat, but
and
a
she
dog.
covers it up. It's so cute.
That's
anyway,
really cute.
so I'm worried that this hawk is going to come down and take her away. So I mean, it's actually a better thing. Anyways, enough about me.
Right.
But let's talk
Let's do
about
dog swap. Okay.
Let's talk about what it means. I want Calise to take it from here because she wants to describe about what it means to have your first reading and what it means, and take it away, Calise.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about what to expect in your first reading and what a psychic reading is. A lot of people, they come into this and they think, oh, what do I need to know for my first reading? Honestly, have no expectation, because as soon as you have an expectation, that's when things really start to go haywire. You should just come in being really open and just open to the fact that the reading could go in any direction. I think it's really, really good to keep a list of questions with you during your first reading so that at some point you can talk about what you want to talk about. But in a psychic reading specifically, when you meet with a medium, a clairvoyant, someone who talks about psychic stuff, they're talking about past, present, and future. Someone who's just doing a psychic reading is not going to be connecting with dead people. They're just talking about you, things that are going on in your life, things that have just happened, things that are coming up, and so forth. Really good for predictions, really good for getting insight on a situation that you're in right now. So I don't know about you guys, but the first time I had a psychic reading, I was completely blown away. I just sat there thinking, I don't know what's going on, but this woman's talking about things that I didn't even know that anyone else knew about me. How does she know? But the only way I really got the most out of it was to record it. So I always encourage my clients to record their readings. Not everyone likes to do that, but I really do, because the funnest part is like what you said with Emily, where you go back after 3 or 4 years and you start to see all these things that actually did happen that you totally forgot about in the moment.
And when I started the show, I remember saying, oh, this is going to be really cool in about 4 years because we can look back and we have the recording. When I got my first psychic reading, I had to just remember it. And I used to write it down, and I don't know where all those notes are. But having this 150 shows or whatever, 125 shows or whatever we've done, it's kind of cool. Like I went back, I released them from behind the paywall so you can listen to Emily's shows. And also, just, it's interesting to see where she's come since then, what you're doing. And there's one I haven't released yet, and that was the one you did with Funny Emily. But I'm saving that for when
that was a good one, too.
I'm going to have her back.
That's when I was going to end up with a doctor or something.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was with Barbara Mackey, the
okay.
second one you did. And she said you're going to date a married guy that was
a doctor.
And I was like, you stay away from my husband.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking maybe,
that didn't
Colby, if you could tell us a little bit about what a mediumship reading is and what people can expect from their first time as in a mediumship reading.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Calise. With a medium reading, it's similar to the psychic in releasing your expectations. Because a true medium it's not like a telephone call where we can dial up and say, oh, yeah, she wants to talk to Joan. Let's go ahead and dial in Joan. It doesn't work that way. A true medium will simply expand their awareness and see who steps forward for the recipient. So if you're getting your first medium reading, I would really recommend open up to all your loved ones, and even remember, you may be a messenger for someone else, perhaps a neighbor or another relative. And I also believe let go of the specific things that you absolutely need to hear in order to believe that that's a connection. If you feel like you're not going to believe, if you're not going to believe that it is I'm giving you your grandmom, I'm talking about her personality. Yes, but I don't mention that it's the darn bluebird with her, the blue jay sitting on the nest, you're not going to believe it. Like, you have to let go. And the more I think you can let go, the more the pieces will fit in later.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I discourage people from coming in with an agenda for that very reason. So,
well, they just get in their own way. I think what happens is they will intercept the link, and it just makes it more difficult, I think, for anyone to have the connection then.
Interesting.
Definitely. And then you lose out on time, and you lose out an opportunity to talk to your loved one if you're sitting there trying to test the medium or trick the medium and all this kind of stuff. It's really good to be skeptic. I don't think anyone should go in as an open believer to everything, but definitely be open to the fact that other things might come through that you may not have expected.
Yeah.
And don't wait until you hear about that one blue jay or whatever it is before you open up and go, okay, yeah, so it really is grandma.
Yeah.
Because now you've just missed out on 60% of your reading time that was all with the same woman.
Yes.
Well, I think people that are super practical in life or scientific or whatever, they don't want to believe it from the beginning.
Right.
So, I mean, you really, really have to convince, and it's taken a lot of time. But Emily, how did you feel after you had your first reading? I don't remember. I know you had a brief thing, but did you have a psychic reading before you came on my show?
I've had one before, yeah. So and it was pretty incredible. I remember it was yeah, I remember my first one. Can we talk? Well, it's about that. That's
yes,
I remember.
Yes,
yeah, no, I remember that it was like. Can I talk about the? Okay, because we're not doing the dead thing about. Okay, my dad died.
Okay.
We won't talk. We were going to cover this later with you guys.
anyways.
But no, when he died. But I remember going to see a psychic. But it was a year after he died, so it was like 20 years ago. But I went to see a psychic, and she right away she was like, "Something with your heart, your dad," and she called all into it. And I was like, "How did you?" And then I was like, "I'm in. I'm a believer. How would you have known that?" And he died. I remember another psychic after that told me too that my dad was probably really. He died of a heart attack at 49. And so she was like, oh, and he was really stressed and had anxiety. And I think that's true now, looking back. And I think he probably was. I mean, I don't think that's why he died. But there was all these insights that I never thought about before about my dad that have actually helped soothe a lot of it. It's been very cathartic, I think, the psychic experience I've had around my dad. It always seems to come up. So how
do you feel about psychic readings now in general, now that you've had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or
5?
I think they set me on the right track. I feel like I always feel better after them, and there's always some kind of, because it's not scientific. You can't prove it. It's true. I can't go, that's really true. That's, that doesn't make sense to me. You can always pull nuggets out that I feel like have always been helpful for my life. And I'll start thinking about it a month after, and it's really good to go back months after and listen to it and re-listen. Because sometimes in the moment you're like, I don't know what that means. And then typically when I go see psychic, because I record it, I listen, it's always been prophetic for me.
You've been the best guest ever, too. You're always so pliable, and you just move in every direction, no matter what.
Psychic virgins. I'm in.
Speaking of psychic virgins, Emily, can you tell us some tips that you would give to people if they're going in for their first reading? One thing, I was listening to some of your podcasts last night, and one thing I really, really love that you keep saying is don't do anything that you're not prepared to do.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. And I just thought you could really apply that to pretty much anything, but it's it sounds so simple, but it's such an important thing to remember. So if you were, today going in, there's a lot of people that haven't had readings before. What kind of things would you ask them to keep in mind or let them know before they go into their first reading?
I would say just to be open and be present and just to breathe and to really just like don't try to control it because you're not in control. You're just calling in. Clearly, you're calling for a reason. People are waiting online right now. They're called in. They've been waiting for a half hour to talk because they know that there's something in it and they're not quite sure what to expect. So I would say just suspend any kind of judgment and just kind of, have your question, just one question, and then listen and pay attention and breathe and let the psychics take it away. Don't have any preconceived notions about what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be enlightening for everybody.
Yeah,
So
I think it's super important to let go of what you want the answer to be if you're the recipient. Do you know what I mean? It's like you gotta, because sometimes, like you said, I mean, we've done, when we had Amber, right? And we said, I said, oh, I'm seeing a pregnancy, you're having a baby. And the look on her face was like,
I know.
And then,
And then she's pregnant.
Well,
she's
she was
pregnant.
breaking up with this guy.
Yeah.
And we were like, but we tried to tell her, please don't get pregnant with this guy. Like, please, we're trying to tell you, you're going to get pregnant. And then she broke up with the guy, and then she got pregnant with the next guy.
She did.
She literally did.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about that more in
Anyhow.
the next show, which
Yeah.
is going to come directly after this, because we have a whole bunch of callers. And since we're running a little bit behind, would it be okay if we held off on your reading a little bit,
Mine?
Emily?
Oh, we got to start with hers.
Okay.
I need
We'll be
I need
really
some
quick.
juice. I need some.
Yeah.
You guys, tell me what's up.
No, we got to start with her so that the listeners know what to expect.
Yeah, because
right?
it's been a while.
Okay,
I need to.
okay.
Yeah, I'm in.
So
I'm
anybody who's
listening.
waiting on
It's
hold,
like
you
short speed read. We'll speed read Emily.
if you're
Fine,
on hold,
I'm
we
busy. I'm
know
an
you're
open
there.
book. I'm an open
We
book.
know you're there if you're on hold, and we will be getting to you in a minute. So hang on.
Okay. All right. Do you want to start, Calise, or you want me to start?
Yeah, it's just a couple things.
Okay,
So
I'm definitely going to jump in because I
Yes,
know that
please.
there's, I feel like there's someone you're seeing, Emily, and I feel like this person is becoming more and more serious. So,
Oh my God, I was going to say the same thing.
were you? And I feel
Yes.
like in the beginning, and this is soon, like this is coming in the next few months, I feel. So
Do I know this person yet?
you may have been introduced to him or maybe very, very, very new at this point, but I feel like I'm hearing to tell you to give this some time. Don't push it away so quickly and so easily.
Like I do. with
And-
intimacy.
Yeah, you said that today. You're going, oh yeah, I'm with this guy, and it's not going to work out.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you
Did
did.
I say that?
No, you didn't really say it in
God.
those
I
words.
did
You
not
were like,
say
"Oh,
that.
pro-
I've
I
said that in the
probably
past. I
will."
did not say
Emily,
that.
you're not going to be single forever. I
No.
I like being
You're not
single.
settling down.
I'm not.
You're not.
Okay.
I have an image of you walking down the aisle, and I was horrified when this came in because I'm like, she's not going to want to hear this. But again, I'd rather tell you what I see than what you want to hear.
What kind
Yeah.
of aisle? Like
True.
clothing
I'm not
aisle?
saying you're going to get married tomorrow, but there is long-term commitment on the cards for you. Let's just put it like that.
That just made me anxious. No, that's good.
But
That
it
sounds
won't
good.
at the time because it'll be one of those ones where
What's this
I
person like?
checked into this. It'll be one of those ones where you're saying, I can't actually live without you. That's why I've decided that I want to commit to you.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think that's what people do when they're right. Right. When you feel someone, you're like,
That was-
this
Yeah.
you must be in my life because without you, I can't
Yes.
breathe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
taller, he's thinner, he's got dark hair, light skin, good looking guy, possibly younger, a little bit foreign, something foreign about
Foreign.
him.
Right,
You'll
that
be
I can't
super
even
happy.
really
It
understand
won't
him.
feel suffocating at the time.
He's not white.
Yeah, he looks white, but foreign.
Ish.
Foreign
Could be
white.
Mediterranean.
Okay.
Could be Israeli.
Uh-huh. How am I going to know when it's him? How am I going to know? Because I'm not going to be
You
able to
won't
live without
actually know when you meet him,
Okay.
but as the relationship goes on, you won't want to be without him.
him.
Sounds
Wow.
good to me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's gonna build, and I think it's gonna get serious. And I feel like I'm just hearing to tell you to give it a chance.
So even when I think it's not going to go anywhere, I should still. hang out.
Yeah.
I did not
If
say that.
you're
I don't
enjoying
think.
yourself, keep
No, you
going
didn't. I mean,
forward.
Did I?
that's
I
not
don't
those
remember.
weren't your exact words, but it's more like, oh yeah, I was with this guy. That's not me, and it's just it won't work out. And then you might like you were just kind of mumbling, but you always talk like that. You're like, oh yeah, but it's fun. And in your hair was I had to do your hair when you got here. Like she literally just rolled out of bed and showed up.
She had bed hair. No, there's no one, anybody.
Sorry, Grandma.
No one's here.
Too much information.
TMI. Way TMI.
And I'll say real quick too, it feels like 18 is definitely going to be this breakthrough year, but really, honestly, I feel like it's more May, June, and I keep hearing there's something that you're working on, but by May, June, that's when it breaks out. It breaks, and I feel like it's a breakout year for you. And it's really interesting. We obviously know what you do, but this is more mainstream. I feel like this breakthrough is like you hitting more mainstream as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Possibly a reality show or something where there's ongoing exposure.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that too. I feel like this is going to be the big year for bigger year.
This is going to be a good year for 2000. Everybody, it's like
Everybody.
2017 is over. People had a bad year. Last year was the worst for me,
Yeah.
but I think 2018.
Sorry,
There
told
goes
you.
17. That
We're-
was like 17
Goodbye,
leaving us.
17, and
That
we're
was it.
zooming
Gone.
into
Good
18.
riddance. Good riddance.
I love the sound
Yeah.
effects in New York City.
Emily,
It's my favorite.
do you guys remember in the 90s how people used to do like in stores in shopping malls and stuff like that?
In stores? What do you mean?
Yeah, like when CDs were a thing and you'd go to a record store and there'd be like someone in the mall and
Yeah.
they're promoting their new album.
Totally.
So I see you doing something like that. I don't know what the modern day version of that is.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a
Book.
live podcast.
Yeah, it's a
maybe
live. I'm going to be doing more live podcasts this year. Yeah, keep going. Right. I
More
like
Sex
this.
with
But that
Emily
makes
live
sense.
podcast.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I'm seeing for you. Just bigger and better. Keep moving forward.
Are they in record stores or are they in like
don't
improv?
sign
Improvs.
your rights away
Oh.
for products. Don't sign your rights away. You're going to need those.
Okay.
If you're doing any joint ventures.
I won't sign anything away.
And there's
Okay.
going to be you're going to have an appearance. I feel like it may be just one episode or an arc where it's a TV show, but it's primetime. So it's a nighttime TV show.
Wow.
Cool.
And they
Okay.
have you doing like just a couple episodes that they come see you and they talk to you, and you may even be doing more of like a therapist kind of thing. I don't know, but I see that.
Maybe
I
it's
like-
your podcast on a TV show.
Yeah, I
or
feel like
something.
there's a lot of healing and help that needs to happen right now around sex and relationships because I think we're in a little bit of a crisis right now.
Yes,
Although it's
we
not.
are.
Yeah, so I think I see myself out there in the world doing a lot more this year. Anyway.
Yeah, I think
that's
your
my
brand
plan.
is really going to grow.
It is.
That's good. Yeah,
Colby,
because men are
I want to heal
confused.
sex. Sex is being maligned right now. What?
What, Calise?
Oh, do you have any more closing messages for Emily?
No, I will
Stick
just
with the dude.
stick with the dude, and not to get too crazy, but I do feel like your dad is here, and I do feel like that he definitely wanted to hold your hand, and I feel like he's letting you know that he's with you, and make sure your mom knows that he's with her around these holidays, and just to kind of give a lot of love. And I do feel like it's kind of like he's saying, I'm holding you up, honey. I got your back on this. So I just say that real quick.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That feels good to me.
And I'll just add to close that I feel like your grandma on your mom's side is putting a flower crown around your head, and she's just saying that she really approves of the success that you've had and everything you've been doing, and not to feel in any way doubtful of the path that you're on. And I know you don't, but just from her to say that you're building a beautiful empire.
Oh,
And that you need to keep moving forward, not to
That's
change
cool.
direction.
She's
One
cool with the sex
vibrator at a
thing.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
saving the world one
Exactly.
orgasm at a time.
I love
Sorry,
it.
Grandma.
It's all right. That's important. That's life's. That's how we procreate. Okay.
Yeah,
So
no, it
let's-
is important. I want to help people understand sex and relationships better so we can
I mean,
enjoy
we can
it.
talk to dead people, but you got to make alive people. And
Yeah,
the way to do
exactly.
it.
Just super quick, it just popped in. But what about this idea? Why don't you maybe contemplate how you can work with men or people in how to deal with women, like especially with all
Masculine
this.
fe-
Yeah, because we've got all this stuff with harassment and miscommunication and not knowing how to connect to one another. So maybe
That's
something
kind
like
of that's
that.
my work that's set out for 2018 because I think that men are getting men are getting the short end of the stick here. I do believe that
Yeah.
everyone's like men are being maligned as well as sex. And I feel like we've never really learned the right way how to interact. Women were not in the workplace 30, 40 years
Yeah.
ago. It's a different world. And so
And
men
it's not based on what we're dressed like. Men who can't control themselves need to be dealt with. But
yeah,
still.
but it's about power and abuse of power, but it's not necessarily about sex. Like I don't think that we are in a sex crisis right now, so I actually want to help heal that and make sex fun and
God
pleasurable
bless
again.
you.
Yeah.
Everybody's concerned.
I know.
And
Thank you,
Emily
but-
Moorse is, can be found at sexwithemily.com. So if you want to listen to her podcast, definitely subscribe and check her out because she is the best of the best. She's one of the top in the charts. She's been around forever. And
Forever.
And this,
you.
yeah, like 20 years.
Yeah, and I've been doing podcasts for 12 years, and I've got
It's crazy.
a lot of podcasts up there.
And she was up for the podcast movement award with Drew.
And Drew won.
It was between
Whatever,
you two,
Drew.
though. It's between
How
you two.
awesome.
But
No,
I'm
I
going to
love it.
say that you better win it next year. Hopefully somebody nominates you again.
I
because
was
it's
just proud to be considered.
you're going to get that Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh,
if you
God,
Don't.
I'm
And I
feeling-
think, but I don't want you to get that before you win. Like, you're going to win it next year. We're going to do that.
I like the lifetime achievement
That's
thing.
Susan's
I like
prediction.
the career thing.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that makes me happy. The walking down the aisle. Oh my God, they Google image. Is that on the thing? Okay. You can, yeah. I like that stuff. The walking down the aisle thing made me anxious, but everything else sounds really good.
Okay, but we should probably take a
Don't
caller.
worry, at the time it'll be your choice.
I'm going to
Okay,
move
good.
to
You won't be-
callers because we do have a lot, and I'm so
Let's
excited
do it.
because it's just such a
Yes.
blessing to have people calling in. So we're going to take number 5, and it's always a pleasure to hear from people who have never had a reading before. Hi, who is this? Number 5.
Janice,
Hey, Janice, how are you? This is Susan Pinsky. I'm here with.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here with Psychic Rebel Colby, Colby Rebel, or Rebel Colby.
Colby, Rebel.
Colby Rebel.
Hi.
I'm sorry. I knew her back when she was Psychic Rebel. I don't know. It's like having a child. I can't. And Calise Simone. And I
Hi,
wanted.
Janice.
Yes, and I'm gonna let
Hi.
them. I'm gonna let them read you. I'm gonna let Colby start with this one.
Well, Janice, though, if you're on speakerphone or something, can you please turn that off because you have an echo on your phone.
All right.
Yeah,
I will.
see? Okay, thank you.
Okay, is that better?
Oh, Mama, that is
Yes.
so much better. Thank you so much. All right, do you want me to
Alrighty.
start or did
yeah,
you say?
I think Colby
Yeah,
should
sure, go
start.
for it.
All right, Janice. And are we going to do a psychic reading or more medium reading? What would you prefer, Janice? Oh, you okay? Well, I
I
will
like
say
the
there's.
psychic reading.
Okay. Can I just mention that I feel like there's a father in spirit for you, or a man who would be like a father? Can I say that to you?
Sure.
Okay. Do you understand a man who's like a father for you in spirit? Even though I am going to go psychic, I promise.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. I do feel like this is a time where I get this feeling you're dealing with a lot of confusion at the moment, where I keep feeling like it's almost like you're letting go of a lot of things. The floor almost feels like it's been falling out from under you, especially this past year. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also understand like you almost can't get your footing? It's I almost feel like you keep trying to do things and it's almost like it keeps the opportunities keep being taken away from you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. I also
do.
okay. And I do get this feeling with work or just even trying to do work. It's like one wall just doors after doors after doors keep closing. And I just keep feeling like it's telling you to go in a different direction. So I almost feel like there's a rebirth happening here. Almost this feeling of you're starting your own thing, starting over, and I keep feeling like letting go of these obligations that you're feeling loyal to other people. Do you understand that? Do you understand like kind of holding on to something?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I do get this also feeling around relationship where there's, honestly, I'm just going to give you what I'm getting and then you correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Do you understand a broken relationship as well? Like this feels more romantic, but I see it broken. Does that make sense to you?
Sort of, yes.
Okay, you can understand this separation, or this person isn't. It feels like they're not around. I hear they are around, but they're not around. I don't know. Does that make sense?
They're not around.
Okay, you understand, but it gives me this feeling that you're still it's not. This isn't easy for you. You're still thinking about them. It's hard for you to move on. Like I almost feel like maybe you didn't have a say in this, or there's something about where you weren't expecting this. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like this is really, really hard for you. And I feel like emotionally, you just feel so betrayed on a lot of levels. I feel like that it just feels like
Yes.
this person betrayed you. It feels like you were loyal to them. It feels like you gave them everything. And then I feel like it not only, it's like they're disloyal, but they're disrespectful as well. Do you understand that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I am, I am just hearing to tell you that you do your best to heal from this and move past this, because it feels to me that this person also, do you understand this person being with somebody else? I hate doing that, but do you understand that part, Janice?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate you being honest and
But you're saying he's with somebody else.
it feels like he is. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. I would you know that already? You suspected.
No.
You suspect.
No.
Okay. Did you suspect
He
it?
doesn't come down on the weekends. I just don't understand what he's doing.
What he's doing, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my feeling. Go ahead, Calise. I feel like he's with someone else. That's honestly my feeling. Go ahead, Calise.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily at that point with him, but I definitely picked up a relationship around you that's been putting a lot of pressure on your ability to concentrate on things. Do you understand feeling very confused and not being able to make a straight decision because you're considering his emotions and everything you do?
Yes.
And it's almost like
Yes.
if you're planning your week, you're planning it around him.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of cooking or something where you'd wear an apron perhaps?
No.
Okay. Do you
No.
understand anything with like tools or hair or like grooming with you?
Yes.
Okay, because I just felt
Yes.
like what I actually felt was like you were holding combs and combing hair and then like putting them in your pockets and then like taking off this belt of combs and throwing it down and just being like, I got to wash my hands and now I can relax. Almost like you've done all this grooming and now it's the end of the week and that you can just like relax because you're ready for the week. I feel that there's some connection between the grooming and the relationship. Do you understand what this is referring to?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Actually, could you clarify that for me? Because I'm not quite too sure what that's telling us.
I color his hair.
There you go.
Whoa, that's
Okay.
intense.
Okay. So also,
Dude.
do you understand anxiety around this relationship too and a feeling like you don't know where you stand?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, because this is what Colby was picking up on. All I'm hearing from spirit, I'm not seeing something about another girl, which is not to say that's not happening. That may very well be happening. I'm just hearing he's not the man he said he was. That there is, I'm being told like a curtain, like a shade, a curtain in between who you see and who he is. So there's still pieces of the puzzle that haven't been put together. And then I'm seeing a Christmas tree and being shown that at Christmas time, you'll be able to make sense of all of this, but pursue and move forward and don't feel frightened to ask the big questions. So
Okay.
I know you can, you're a mom, right?
Well,
I just see
I'm a
daughters
mom,
around
yes.
you. So I feel like you can pry and you know how moms do when they need to find out information. You've just got to do that to him.
right.
Yeah, I think
And just
too.
say, what
He
is
shuts
the
down.
deal?
No, he won't
He
say.
won't have an
He
answer.
shuts down.
Well, he shuts down because he doesn't want you to know, Janice. He shuts down.
I feel that he will give you an
Okay.
answer this time, though. The more you ask, eventually he'll give you an answer.
You've been with him a long time, am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. Then you sit down
Correct.
and you tell this man, I need to know these things because my gut, my intuition is telling me something doesn't feel right, which I know is right for you, right? And you deserve an
Right.
answer. It's stop putting him at the top of the list. I need you to move yourself up because this isn't making you feel good. You have been questioning. You don't feel like you trust him 100%. I think you ask him. You have a right to do that in any relationship you are in.
Right.
And I do feel that he's been draining your energy and possibly even spending your money because I just feel like your resources are going down because of him. So do you understand that?
Yes.
And it may just be energetically. You don't have to admit it if you don't want to. But I'm seeing that he's taking
No,
away.
that's fine. I don't give him
And
money or
you're better
anything.
without him.
Yeah.
I feel so pro-woman, right? So Oprah. You're better off without that man.
We don't need
Better off
him.
without him.
Kick him to the curb.
We don't need him.
Yeah. So thank you, Janice. We're gonna have
Can I
to
leave
take
that with
another.
you?
We're gonna have to take another caller. But does that sort of clarify anything for you? Since the fact, I mean, nobody
Yes,
here.
I just want to know what he does on the weekends if he's with somebody else.
I think he is. That is my feeling. And I'm not trying to do that to
Based on
hurt
what
your
I heard, I'd
feelings.
agree with that too.
I'm not
No,
trying.
don't worry about it. I'll move on.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well,
So
you
that-
at least, you have free will. You sit down and you ask him. But I think there's a fishy reason why he's not spending his weekends with
Yeah.
you.
Weekends are time for lovers.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
children, but you can make time if a lover,
Exactly.
you can find that time on the weekend to hang with someone.
That's
and
right.
I'm not psychic. I just know about relationships.
Okay. So
Thank you,
Thank
Janice.
you for calling.
Thank you. You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Take
That
care.
was a good call.
So
The
yeah,
hair and the guy and the coloring. You guys are good.
it's pretty
It's
funny.
impressive.
Okay. So we have Buddy on the line. Hello, Buddy.
Hello.
My buddy's here.
Hello.
How are you? We have a psychic
I'm
virgin.
doing good.
Buddy's a virgin. How are you?
Yeah.
How you feeling, buddy?
Pretty good.
You nervous? Okay, cool.
Okay, so
I
what,
am seeing that you're a hard worker. Are you very good with like construction and doing things with your hands as well?
Not construction. I do work outside in a garden center.
Oh, okay. I kept seeing you doing things with your hands, but I've got almost like RSI in my right hand, like a wrist pain. You might need to wear a brace or just take care of that. I don't know if you're experiencing that now or that's been and gone, but do you understand why that comes up?
I just broke or not broke, but sprained my back yesterday at work lifting Christmas trees.
Oh, I thought it was in your wrist. I didn't realize it was in your back. Is there an issue with your wrist though?
I just got a tattoo on my wrist a week or two ago.
Oh, okay. That I guess.
And
that
I did get scratched again with Christmas trees. I do have some scratches on my wrist.
Oh, okay. Well, the message is to just take it easy because I do feel like work is a bit of a hazard for you. The next few months are going to be a lot easier than the year that's just been. I feel like you've been keeping the family together and also making sure that, like, putting out fires. Has there been a lot of crossfire in relationships and family around you recently? Would you understand that?
Sort of.
Okay. Just know that all of that is backing down and that next year looks a lot smoother in terms of relationships and family for you. I do feel like I need to tell you to slow down. Spirit's saying you're driving way too fast. So keep the pedal from the metal, if I can say that. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
And just be aware of the signs from Spirit. I do feel there's a male spirit that's trying to communicate with you quite a lot, either a brother or a father figure. Sends you a lot of 11s and number signs, okay?
Okay.
So just stay aware of the number signs if you see repeating numbers on the clock and so forth.
Okay.
Colby, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, buddy, it is, right, babe?
Yes.
Hey, okay, so just a couple things that I'm picking up. I keep hearing, I don't know, there's something about your work. I almost feel like I think it's time to move past this job or maybe move past what you're doing. So I keep hearing that I don't know if you've been just a little frustrated with what you're doing or it just feels like you want more. Does that make sense to you around your work?
Yeah. I just became a manager at my job, and I'm already thinking about
Like the next next level, like where else can I go? What else can I do? Right? Because I just feel like, here's the thing. I feel like, honestly, buddy, you're so smart. Like, I keep feeling you're so smart. You're really very resourceful, right? And I feel like you've got a lot of ideas. I just keep feeling like maybe it's time to kind of think of yourself on a bigger platform, not just a manager in an office, right? I feel like this is about trusting in yourself to take this bigger. And I don't know if you've been thinking about school or this idea of like, do I need to go back to school? And I don't necessarily feel like you do. I just feel like it's putting you on a bigger platform as to what you're doing. Like, allow yourself, other than this manager, I just keep feeling like go bigger, go bigger, go bigger. And you maybe have to switch companies in order to do that.
Yeah. You may even start your own business at one point. Yeah. I just don't feel like you're relaxed in the environment you're in.
So,
Okay.
did you have any questions for us?
So you guys mentioned that there's somebody trying to talk to me. I don't know of any father figures, but there is something in my house that's been bothering us.
Okay.
Oh.
You haven't got a friend, like a male friend who's crossed over to the other side, have you? Or would you, let me start by saying, would you recognize someone, same generation as you, like a brother or a cousin or a friend that was brotherly? Because I feel like, I feel like I've got a male who's from the other side that's communicating with you, that has a mentoring energy, but was close with you. Would you understand who that could be?
No, I'd have to think about that. The only person, the other person I was hoping was here is my nephew, who passed away in our house.
Don't tell me how he died. I just felt like I had someone who was the same generation as you. So I don't know how close you were in age to your nephew, but the person that I'm feeling, he doesn't look like he was an old man when he passed. He looks like he passed with all his energy draining out of his body. So he could have committed suicide, could have been a drug overdose, something like that. But I just feel like he did not have a lot of control over his life at that moment. So would you understand any of that for someone that you recognize on the other side?
Except for the age thing, yes.
Okay. So just keep in mind that I don't feel this person was very old. And I feel that this person is sending you signs through numbers. So you might see the time 2:22, 5:55, 11:11, and that he's hanging around the home because he needs to be close to the family. Would you understand that the funeral was within 6 months, like it was recent?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you would recognize that he would be around because the family is still dealing with the, like working out his estate and all the things related to his passing, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel like he's helping close that energy. So I was going to say, I help close that energy. He's coming really close. He just needs you to relax and stop feeling like things are your fault. So I'm not sure if you've been taking this on, but he says to relax and stop feeling like things are your fault, because you do share your emotions with everyone, but you also like feel very heavily responsible for something that happened. Does that make sense to you?
A little.
Okay. Well, know that comes through, and I want to leave you with that message.
Okay.
Are you sure that? Yeah, no, Colby, go.
Well, a couple things maybe, and I don't know, Calise, because but I'm wondering if maybe when you were getting that feeling of a father or someone around his age, maybe it's just maybe it's him, but wanting to get a message to his father. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I do feel
connection to the father's side of the family.
Yeah, buddy. One of the things I feel like a couple things I want to reassure you of is, I'm sure you're seeing signs of him in the house, and you can feel his energy a lot, because he feels like a very forceful person. Like he feels like, I actually feel like you even see physical movement in the house. Is that right? Like I feel like he's very physical. So
we've had knocking on the doors a couple of times.
Yeah, so what I feel like is to let you know, by no means is this, please don't take this as a sign that he hasn't crossed over. Please don't take this a sign that he's not at peace or that he doesn't know where the light is. Please don't do that. What I want you to do is, it's simply him letting everybody know that he is okay and that he's just preferring to visit. And I do just feel like, don't be afraid of it. Please, there just doesn't feel to be any ill will or harm. It just is a matter of wanting to really be around everyone. And he's just a little forceful with his energy. That's all it is. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And
Thank you.
If you ever feel like he's bothering you too much, just ask him to keep it down, because I do feel like he's trying to be friendly. He's not trying to be malicious. So just say, give us a break. We're trying to sleep. We'll talk to you in the morning.
Get some sage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that was
Thank you for
helpful.
calling in, buddy. That's so sweet. We really appreciate your time, and
thank you.
And
Yeah.
I hope you'll be okay. We'll it's just so sad when one of your, a young person passes, and you just, it's just so traumatizing. And You know, they do hang around. I have a guy in my pool house I cannot get rid of to save my life, and I got to tell you, I don't know who it is, but they do come around, and
You just welcome them.
and if you're intuitive, it, you know, I mean, I always felt like I could sense my my grandparents when I was younger, and I always felt like I could, when somebody passed, I could feel their presence when I was younger, before I got older and started drinking. But I literally, like, I always felt attuned to that. And it's interesting. It's really interesting how we work. I'm getting a message from Colby.
It's cathartic, though. I do think to hear that comforting, that like he's passed over to the other side, or whatever message you give to people, because I think death is feels so final. So when you guys can access.
So if you hear anything in the background, it's my husband making a lot of noise in the other room. So just ignore him.
Tap the wall. Hit the wall.
Yeah. Okay, shut up out there. Okay, so I want to take another one. I think we're going to do what should we do? Number 9.
9?
Yes.
All right, 757.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, 757. This is Colby. We got Calise. We got Emily. We got Susan. What's your name?
Oh, I'm
Lori. I'm
Susan.
fangirling. I love all you guys.
Hi, Lori. How's it going?
She was looking at me when she said that.
You would think that. Never mind. I'm just really excited. Go on.
Oh, okay.
Have you had a reading before, Lori?
I'm sorry.
Have you had a reading before?
I have not. No.
Ooh,
She's a virgin.
exciting.
She's a virgin.
I'm a virgin.
And would you prefer us to do psychic or medium today?
Well, both, but whatever you'll give me.
Well, we don't get both. You don't get a whole 1 hour reading.
I've been listening since the beginning. Please.
There is a lady.
Well, you can always call one of these guys and pay them to talk to you for an hour.
She's got big blonde
If
hair.
I have to choose, I guess.
Wait. Khalees is
I
reading
guess I
it.
would. I'm sorry.
Khalees is reading it. We're all talking over her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start.
Lori, I've got a woman in spirit who's stepping forward, big blonde hair up like this, like all around her head, lots of love, very bubbly personality. She's a little bit overweight. I feel that she would have passed from a heart condition. Do you understand this?
No.
Okay, know that she steps through with the energy of your father's side of the family. So this may be someone connected to that part of the family. She doesn't feel like she's a huge woman, okay? She just doesn't feel super, super skinny. But I feel like her body was breaking down before she passed. There was no strength in her body, but I just feel like she had a strong, loving energy towards you, and that she needs to see you again, and that she needs you to understand that the spirit world is very much around you. And she said you were small when she passed. Does that make sense?
It does. I think it's my grandma, but you know what? She was gray when I passed. So after you said that, she was blonde when she was younger, like me. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Oh.
And would you understand that she'd want to be remembered blonde with the big bouncy hair, and that's her true self, in her opinion?
Probably so, but not how I remember her.
No, that's okay, because she's going to come through the way she wants to be remembered, not necessarily the way we remember her. So keep that in mind as well. I just feel that she's really, really lovely, and she's a woman of many hugs. So I feel like she would hug everyone, but also very hospitable, very sweet. And she would be very polite, but then be very particular as well. So I do feel that she would come through with like educated information if you tried to have an opinion around her. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes, it does.
Yeah, so she could be very particular but very sweet as well. She says she shows me you running around back and forth during the day. Do you understand being really busy and changing locations during your workday?
Well, I used to. Yes, at my old job I did.
She said no more. She doesn't want that anymore. She said you need to learn to sit still. You need to learn to calm down. She wants you to understand that your life will get better and it will get easier. I just feel like there's a lot of hustle energy going on around you, and that the money will start to flow eventually. But it's sort of like that stopped in 2015, and then 2015 to 2018 was learning to calm down, and then 2018 will be a very smooth time moving forward in terms of finances, career, and life in general. Just like, whew, you can finally relax.
Okay.
I'm kind
of high strung. I don't ever really relax.
Well, let me chime in because Calise
Just
is
going to add
freezing.
one more thing.
Oh,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like, yeah.
You're
Sorry,
freezing.
go, Colby, go.
Oh, I just will say I picked up on the finances too being a bit of a struggle. So it's Lori, is that right, babe?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you understand the finances being a struggle at the moment as well?
Yeah, they're always a struggle.
Okay. All right. Well, here's also what I'm feeling like. I know you've got a different job, but I keep hearing you're moving and picking up. So I don't know if you've been thinking about moving, but I keep hearing she's moving and she's picking up. So
I'm moving jobs, so I'm thinking.
Yep. Okay, good. I do feel like this move will be a positive move for you. It does feel like, I know you're really frustrated with where you are, and I feel like there was a lot of false promises. But I just, but I keep hearing that this is a turning point for you, and it's letting you know that keep trusting this compass, because I feel like this new opportunity, you're really going to like this new work environment much, much better. And I do feel like it brings peace. And I also just, more money too. But I do keep feeling like there's about bringing family into your life as well. So reconnecting the family as well. So do you understand that part of it, bringing family in or reconnecting with your family?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to allow me to be home more, a little more flexibility. So obviously, yes, I'll be with my family more.
Okay, good.
I would love that.
Yeah, it does. I think this is going to be finally a real, I know that last move was disappointing. Go ahead, Calise.
Lori, I also feel, thanks, Colby. I also feel we could tweak the relationship a bit. I just keep hearing tweak the relationship. It just could get better. So I'm getting the impression that you're with someone, right? That's why that comes up. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, your connection is
now
breaking.
I can.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I feel that your relationship could be tweaked. So if you are in a relationship, go to counseling. If there's one that you're still getting rid of, you might need to just move that along.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I want to give you that is because it will get better, and it can get better, but you need to go in with your eyes open, and you're not seeing all the facts right now. But I do believe that you're going to get stronger and more independent as time moves forward, and that you're going to feel very, very secure in relationships in the future. But for right now, you need to do a little bit more work on that before it gets there.
I'm not sure if it's because Sex with Emily is in the house, but I thought she was saying twerk with your partner. And I was like, yes, get on it.
Right? She'd always do a little twerking. It's
Always.
really good
Maybe
for
that
the
will help.
relationship.
Maybe that's what they need is more twerking.
Move the body.
That's
So
right.
does that resonate at all? Are you?
Well, I've been married 22 years.
So you do need some twerking.
No twerking's going to happen.
No, it is. That's
Maybe it
exactly
should
what
have.
Maybe it needs to happen. That's why it comes up.
Hey, I'll twerk. I'm in 26 years.
Bringing the twerk back in
Yeah,
2018.
that's right. Right.
Although I can't
Before
do
you
it.
let me go, do either of you see anything in my daughter's future? I have a daughter that's high-functioning autistic.
Okay. Well, looks like we just have a couple minutes left. Do you want me to dive in real quick, Calise, or do you want to dive in?
I'm sorry.
I just get one image of her writing, so I feel like if she's not doing school, she'll end up with a job. But Colby, go for it.
Yeah, I'm getting, the thing is that I know you worry about her because you're trying to put her kind of in a quote unquote normal life, but I feel like she's fine. I feel like if you just let go of what you think she needs to have and let her have the life that she has, she's happy. She's got a lot of joy. And I feel like she's going to be really fine. Like I keep hearing like you're worrying about her, but you're worrying about her because you just want to protect her. But I'm hearing she's okay. She's got this.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she's not happy. She doesn't have any friends. She's lonely. So.
Yeah, just encourage her to get around groups, though. Kind of partake in groups. She just needs to find her, as I hate to say cliche, but her tribe a bit. Find her tribe a bit, because she's just around the people that, again, no, it could be that if you're having her around kind of putting her in a normal or normalcy, I think she just needs to find people who connect the same way she does. And I feel like, but she feels very smart to me. So it makes me feel like.
Oh, she is.
Blossoming in her late teens. I don't know how old she is now, but I see her blossoming in her late teens. Just be patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that gives me hope.
Yeah, I will tell you, find a hobby that she enjoys, whether it's the arts or something creative, but find something that she enjoys and get her in a group so that she's around people that she has an interest with, that they have a common interest. And because I feel like she just has to kind of come outside of this comfort zone a bit. But I think she's just not with the right people.
That's an extremely good point just in general, though. Like, don't keep her too cold, because then there'll be no reason for her to
searching for that for a long time.
Okay. Well, don't give up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Don't give up.
All right.
Cool.
Well,
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was
so
great.
Thanks, Lori.
Bye.
I'm feeling.
All right.
I'm
All
feeling.
right. Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm feeling a little anxious for poor Calise because she keeps going and the caller isn't hearing her, but I think that went really well.
Well, and she'll get to listen back to it, Calise. I mean, that's the great part, is that at least she gets to watch it back and she'll get to hear everything you said. And then she'll be like, oh my God, yes, exactly.
Right. It's important. It's key to listen back.
Yes. Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
So let's see. We have about 5 minutes before we're going to start the next show. So before we go, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's on the line and calling. If you can call back in a little bit, we're going to move into another podcast coming up with Psychic Rebel Colby. This production was produced by Calise Simone. She came up with a brilliant idea to put this on, and I'm actually now asking the psychics to produce. And I became a little stagnant in my ideas. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, and they're coming up with the greatest ideas. Like the next podcast we're doing with Colby, that's her production, and then I have one coming next week with Jen Barrera and AJ Barrera. It's going to be a little darker. We're going to talk about cults and Manson, since Manson just recently died. And also we have another one with Jennifer Schaefer, who's going to be talking about Amelia Earhart. And she's, they found she was working with somebody, and I guess she's bringing somebody named Rick Martini, and maybe Rebecca Fearing will pop up. We're going to have a whole bunch of people here. But
calling out is back, though.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Glad you brought it back.
But you know what? I have to say, I miss this so much. But the podcast that we do have, This Life You Live with Dr. Drew and Bob Forrest or Mike Catherwood, are still up and going. We're going to have a few new ideas and new shows coming. But Emily Moorse is going to be live at the Ice House on Tuesday night, this Tuesday, for all you Facebook.
Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, good.
I sent
Tuesday.
you Wednesday before. I always give you the wrong day.
You always give me the wrong. It's Tuesday. Okay.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Anyways,
Sorry.
Drew and Mike are going to be live at the Ice House in Pasadena. So if you're in the area, please come by. And it's only $20, and it's going to be a podcast for This Life You Live. Emily is on this week's This Life You Live podcast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's going to be there. So if you can jaunt on over to my other podcast, producing and hosting is such a different experience. So if you're like looking at the top of my head, I'm trying to do 3 things at the same time. But I just want to thank you for coming back and listening. And be sure that you download or you subscribe to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky and listen to the first couple minutes, or at least just the intro, so that we know you're there. Otherwise, we don't get credit for it. We don't know you're there because they've changed the system now. Anytime you download a podcast, even though they're all backed up on your phone, you got to click on them. Otherwise, Emily doesn't get credit.
Right.
I don't get credit. Colby doesn't get credit. Nobody gets credit. But being a producer is a tireless job, and these psychics are all pitching in. Calise, thank you so much for coming up with this great idea. We wanted to get people that were afraid to get a reading or never could afford it or just didn't want to. But please.
Thanks to Colby and Emily for being part of it. It was super fun.
Thank you.
Please know that you can get a psychic reading, and you can go to the colbyrebel.com, or you can go to calisesimone.com. You can call them up. They're willing to take your call. You can get an hour reading. You can go see them in person. If you're in New York, you can go see Calise in person, or you can do it over the phone. But the bottom line is you can get help and you can get advice, and you can look back 4 years, and we have the technology now to tape it. But you can probably get some ideas on how to change your life and make a connection with your past loved ones if you want, or you can find out if you're gonna have a new job or a new boyfriend or have a baby or whatever. It's, you know, they all have specific. You can see the things that Colby can do and what Calise can do. And they can produce great podcasts. They can tell you the future, and they're great to go out and have dinner and a drink with too. So
Anytime. I can attest to that.
and thank you, Emily, so much for all your years of support with my podcast, my Piddly podcast. But I love that you are still my friend, and that we are able to see each other as much as we did. Well, we should have seen each other in Mexico. We were only 5 minutes away from each other.
Mexico, we were so close. We didn't know.
That's crazy.
I know. We'll have to go back to Mexico.
Is there anything else we want to say before we leave? Anybody? Just a quick,
love you all.
Signing out. Did
and
everybody get the
I just thanks for all the callers that did get through, and all the ones that just got on the line, and even if you didn't get through, I appreciate you putting yourself out there for this episode, for you saying, I'm going to give this a try. And thank you for the callers that were really, really open. I thought it was really fun. I had a great time. And so just wanted to say thanks to you guys out there.
Yeah.
Calise.
She's cutting out.
Oh, my
Thanks to everyone for being a part of it.
Yay!
Am I still? Yeah.
Well, God bless everybody, and we'll until next week.
Bye.
Can I be honest for a minute? There was a time when I could barely find the strength. Another but silence, I'll admit it. Too busy following, not finding my own way. Got lost in the crowd. They drown me out. All the voices drown me out. Won't drown me out. Turn me up.